Ladies and gentlemen, 2026 is not just another year. It is your year. A year to rise, a year to claim what is already yours, a year to stop the noise of the world and tune into the voice of your purpose. Too often we allow the distractions of others, the opinions of strangers, weight of unnecessary comparisons to steal our peace. But in 2026, you must make a bold decision. Focus only on yourself. Focus on your growth. Focus on your dreams. Focus on the things that elevate you, not the things that pull you down. It is time to stop looking sideways at the lives of others and start looking forward at your own. Because when you pour into yourself, when you cultivate your mind, spirit, and abilities, there is no limit to what you can achieve. Some will try to tell you that helping everyone, answering everyone, or competing with everyone is the path to success. But I tell you, there is power in quiet discipline. There is strength in deliberate action. There is victory in focused attention. 2026 is the year to cut the unnecessary cords. Let go of envy. Let go of judgment. Let go of the weight of other people's expectations. Turn your energy inward, not in selfishness, in intentional preparation for the life you were created to live. Your focus is your weapon. Your focus is your freedom. Your focus is your future. So I challenge you, stand firm in this decision. Guard your time, guard your peace, guard your purpose. Speak life in your own journey. Work diligently in silence and watch as doors open that you didn't even know existed. There comes a time in every person's life when you must make a decision that may feel uncomfortable at first, but is necessary for your growth, your peace, and your destiny. That decision is this: to prioritize yourself. Too long, too often, we have been conditioned to put everyone else first. We rush to meet the expectations of others, to please the people around us, to answer to every demand, to carry the burdens that are not ours, to fix situations that do not belong to us. And while generosity and compassion are noble, there comes a moment when overextending yourself becomes self-sabotage. Prioritizing yourself is not selfish. Let me repeat that, because the world will try to tell you otherwise. Prioritizing yourself is not selfish. It is necessary. It is sacred. It is the foundation on which your life, your dreams, and your purpose are built. Imagine trying to pour water from an empty cup. You cannot give what you do not have. You cannot serve fully if your own soul is starved. You cannot lead, inspire, or create if you are drained from trying to sustain everyone else before yourself. Prioritizing yourself is about replenishing your cup, fortifying your spirit, and strengthening your mind so that you are capable of walking boldly into the life you were called to live. When you prioritize yourself, you set boundaries. You learn to say no without guilt. You learn to recognize that not every battle belongs to you and that not every opinion needs your energy. There is freedom in knowing that your time, your energy, and your focus are sacred commodities that should be invested wisely. Too many people spend their lives scattered, trying to appease everyone, trying to win approval, trying to avoid conflict, and in the process, they lose sight of themselves. But the person who prioritizes themselves understands the value of their time. They understand that their dreams, their vision, their mental and spiritual health are worth protecting. Prioritizing yourself is also about clarity. When you put yourself first, you create the space to hear your own voice. The world is loud, and the opinions, judgments, and distractions from others can drown out your purpose. When you focus on yourself, when you prioritize your growth, your decisions become clearer, your goals become sharper, and your path becomes illuminated. You begin to recognize what truly matters and what is merely noise. You learn to distinguish between people and things that lift you and those that drain you. You begin to operate from a place of intention rather than reaction, and that is where true power resides. Many people fear prioritizing themselves because they believe it will make them appear arrogant or self-centered. Let me tell you something. The person who prioritizes themselves is not arrogant. They are discerning. They are not selfish. They are strategic. They are not ignoring the world. They are preparing to impact it with full force. Prioritizing yourself does not mean abandoning others. It means equipping yourself so that when you do show up for others, you are whole, strong, and capable of giving at your best. You are like a warrior sharpening their sword before battle. You cannot fight effectively without preparing yourself first. Prioritizing yourself also requires courage. It requires the courage to face the uncomfortable truth that not everyone will like you, that some relationships will falter, that some opportunities may pass if they do not align with your purpose. It takes courage to stand firm when the world pressures you to overcommit, to please, to overextend, and to diminish yourself for the comfort of others. The person who prioritizes themselves understands that discomfort is temporary and the rewards of self-investment are eternal. They understand that saying no today, protecting their time today, and focusing on themselves today will create a life of fulfillment, purpose, abundance tomorrow. Self-prioritization is not just about saying no, it is also about saying yes to yourself, yes to your growth, yes to your healing, yes to your dreams, yes to your vision, yes to the opportunities that align with your purpose. When you say yes to yourself, you affirm your worth, you declare your intention to succeed, and you embrace the responsibility to honor your own life. You recognize that your life is yours alone, and it is your duty to live it fully, passionately, and intentionally. One of the greatest gifts you can give to the world is a fully realized, fully empowered version of yourself, and that begins with prioritizing yourself. When you are whole, when you are centered, when you are clear and confident, your presence becomes magnetic, your influence becomes unstoppable, your capacity to impact others positively grows exponentially. Prioritizing yourself is not an act of isolation, it is the foundation of contribution. The more you invest in yourself, the more you can pour into others without losing yourself. Am I prioritizing myself? Am I investing in my growth? Am I protecting my peace and my purpose? If the answer is no, then it is time for a shift. It is time to step back from the obligations, the noise, and the distractions that do not serve your journey. It is time to guard your time, your energy, and your focus with the ferocity of someone who knows the value of their destiny. Prioritizing yourself in 2026 is more than a decision. It is a declaration. It is a declaration that you will no longer allow the world to dictate your worth. It is a declaration that you will no longer compromise your dreams for the comfort of others. It is a declaration that you are worthy of your own attention, investment, and care. And when you live with this mindset, everything in your life begins to change. Opportunities align. Relationships clarify. Purpose reveals itself. Peace takes root, and success follows. In conclusion, understand this truth. You cannot pour from an empty cup. You cannot soar if your wings are clipped, and you cannot live fully if you have neglected yourself. Prioritize yourself. Protect your peace. Invest in your growth. Nourish your mind, body, and spirit. The world will continue to demand, to distract, and to test you. But when you put yourself first, 2026 is the year to rise. 2026 is the year to stand firm. 2026, the year to prioritize yourself and watch as your life transforms in ways you never imagined. Your destiny is calling, and it is waiting for the person who is willing to step up and put themselves first. The question is, are you ready to answer? There is a dangerous trap that countless people fall into every day. A trap that quietly steals joy, undermines confidence, and robs potential. That trap is comparison. From the moment we wake up to the moment we lay our heads down at night, the world constantly tempts us to measure ourselves against others, their success, their appearance, their relationships, their possessions, their influence. I am here to tell you, comparison is not your compass. It is not your truth. It is not your standard. It is a thief disguised as inspiration. When you compare yourself to others, you step out of your lane and step into a race you were never meant to run. You begin to chase someone else's vision, their timeline, their achievements, as if those define your worth. And the truth is, no one else's journey is yours. Your path is unique, divinely designed for you, and it unfolds in ways that cannot be duplicated. The moment you stop comparing yourself is the moment you begin to walk in freedom, clarity, and purpose. Comparison breeds discontent. It makes you overlook the blessings that are already present in your life because your focus is fixated on what someone else has. You see their house, their promotion, their relationship, and you feel inadequate, as if you are somehow failing. But let me remind you, enemy of your progress often hides behind the mask of comparison. Every time you measure your journey against someone else's, you dim your own light. Every time you covet what another has, you distract yourself from what is already yours. Every time you envy another person's success, you blind yourself to the unique gifts, opportunities, and talents that God has placed within you. Comparison also fosters impatience. You see someone else succeeding, and suddenly you feel like you are behind. You feel like you are late. You feel like your life is not moving fast enough. The truth is, life is not a uniform race with everyone starting and finishing at the same time. Each season is different. Each journey is timed perfectly. The person who learns to stop comparing their progress to others learns patience, perseverance, and trust in the divine timing of their own life. They understand that the storms, delays, and setbacks they encounter are not signs of failure. They are preparations for their breakthrough. Stop comparing yourself in your career. Stop comparing yourself in your relationships. Stop comparing yourself in your health, in your finances, in your influence. You were created to be a standard bearer of your own purpose, not a follower of someone else's milestones. When you compare yourself, you give power to another person's narrative over your own. You allow their life to define your value, their success to determine your worth, their choices to influence your decisions. But when you stop comparing, you reclaim your authority. You declare that your life, your journey, and your destiny belong to you alone. Comparison also steals joy. There is nothing more destructive to your peace than constantly evaluating your life against someone else's highlight reel. You scroll through social media, you see curated images, accomplishments, and celebrations, and you feel inadequate. But those glimpses are not the full story. They are fragments, snapshots that omit the struggles, the pain, the discipline, and the sacrifices that lie behind the scenes. Comparing your behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reel is an unfair battle that can never be won. To stop comparing is to embrace gratitude, to acknowledge the richness of your own story, and to celebrate the progress you have made, no matter how small it may seem. Furthermore, comparison kills authenticity. The moment you start measuring yourself against someone else, you begin to mimic, to perform, to imitate. You begin to adjust your personality, your style, and your choices to fit a standard that was never meant for you. But you were born to be original. You were born to be distinct. You were born to express a combination of talents, experiences, and perspectives that no one else possesses. When you stop comparing, you embrace the courage to be yourself fully, unapologetically, and without reservation. Authenticity becomes your power, your influence grows, and your impact is amplified. It is important to recognize that comparison is also rooted in fear. Fear of inadequacy, fear of rejection, fear that you are not enough. But when you confront that fear and stop comparing, you shift your focus inward toward growth, skill, and purpose. You begin to see yourself not in the shadow of someone else, but in the light of your potential. You begin to measure yourself by your values, your progress, and your faithfulness rather than by someone else's achievements. You learn that comparison is a distraction, a detour, barrier that keeps you from fully stepping into your destiny. Stopping comparisons does not mean you cannot admire or learn from others. It does not mean you cannot celebrate someone else's success or draw inspiration from their story. It does mean you refuse to let their path define your worth. It does mean you use their achievements as motivation rather than measurement. And it does mean you stay committed to your journey, focused on your goals and aligned with your purpose. The person who stops comparing becomes resilient, confident, and unstoppable because their validation comes from within, not from external benchmarks. So today, I challenge you to stop comparing. Stop looking to the left or the right. Stop letting the success, approval, or recognition of others dictate your value. Step fully into your own story. Celebrate your progress, trust your timing, embrace your uniqueness, and understand this truth: the moment you stop comparing, you will unlock a new level of freedom, peace, and power that you never thought possible. Comparison is a cage. Key to liberation is to stop looking at what everyone else is doing and start walking boldly in your lane. Walk with confidence. Walk with purpose. Walk knowing that your journey is yours alone and that your value is inherent, not comparative. When you stop comparing, you discover joy that cannot be stolen, success that cannot be measured by anyone else, and fulfillment that comes from living authentically, intentionally, and unapologetically. In conclusion, Understand this, no one can run your race, no one can climb your mountain, no one can live your story. Comparison is a thief, a liar, and a deceiver. Stop letting it steal your peace, your confidence, and your destiny. Walk in freedom. Walk in faith. Walk in the truth that you are enough, you are worthy, and your journey is divinely designed just for you. Stop comparisons and watch as your life transforms into a masterpiece that is uniquely, powerfully, beautifully your own. Energy is life. It is the invisible force that powers your thoughts, your decisions, your actions, and ultimately your destiny. Every day, we are faced with choices that demand our energy, choices about who we spend time with, what we focus on, how we respond to challenges, where we invest our attention. And yet, far too many people give their energy away freely, recklessly, and without thought. They allow negativity, drama, distractions, and the opinions of others to drain them, leaving them exhausted, frustrated, and far from their purpose. But let me tell you this truth. If you cannot control your energy, you cannot control your life. Controlling your energy begins with awareness. You must first understand where your energy goes. What is consuming your time, your attention, your focus, and your passion? Is it the constant noise of social media? Is it people who complain without seeking solutions? Is it distractions that pull you from your purpose? Awareness is the first step toward control. Once you recognize the drains in your life, you gain the power to redirect your energy intentionally. Energy, like currency, must be spent wisely. If you spend it on trivial matters, negative influences, or toxic relationships, your potential will never be realized. Control over your energy also means controlling your responses. Life will always test you. People will always provoke you. Circumstances will always challenge you. But your response, the energy you expend in reaction, is completely under your authority. You decide whether a situation will uplift you or deplete you, whether a confrontation will energize you or exhaust you, whether a criticism will strengthen you or weaken you. Energy is not just about what you do, it is about how you react, how you feel, where you invest your emotional and mental power. Person who masters this knows that their focus and their response determine the trajectory of their life far more than the external events themselves. Controlling your energy also requires discipline. The world will try to pull you in every direction. It will demand your attention, distract your focus, tempt you to overcommit. But discipline allows you to protect your energy. It allows you to say no without guilt, to prioritize what truly matters, and to invest in activities, relationships, and pursuits that build you up rather than tear you down. Discipline ensures that your energy is not scattered across 1,000 tasks, but concentrated on the things that produce results, fulfillment, and progress. Another critical aspect of controlling your energy is understanding the power of your environment. Energy is contagious. The people you surround yourself with, places you frequent, and the media you consume all have an impact on your inner state. If you surround yourself with negativity, cynicism, and constant drama, your energy will be pulled downward. If you consume content that breeds fear, doubt, and comparison, your energy will be depleted. When you choose environments and relationships that uplift, inspire, and challenge you positively, your energy multiplies. The person who controls their energy curates their surroundings with intention, knowing that their environment can either empower or weaken them. Controlling your energy also means protecting your mental and emotional health. Your thoughts, emotions, and attitudes are forms of energy. When you ruminate on past mistakes, worry excessively about the future, or let anger and resentment take root, you are allowing negative energy to dominate your life. But when you cultivate positive thoughts, practice gratitude, and focus on solutions rather than problems, you are redirecting your energy toward growth, purpose, and fulfillment. Mental discipline is not optional. It is essential for anyone who wants to live a life of power, purpose, and peace. Controlling your energy is also about prioritizing rest and renewal. Energy is finite. You cannot pour from an empty vessel. You cannot sustain your efforts if you do not allow yourself time to recharge, sleep, reflection, meditation, prayer. Moments of solitude are not luxuries. They are necessities. They restore your vitality, sharpen your focus, and renew your spirit. The person who controls their energy knows that taking time to recharge is not a sign of weakness, but a strategy for strength. Furthermore, controlling your energy is about focus. Focus determines where your energy flows, and where your energy flows, your results follow. The person who disperses their energy across too many tasks achieves little. But the person who focuses their energy on the essential, on the meaningful, on the aligned, produces results that are extraordinary. Energy invested in the right place is multiplied. Energy invested in the wrong place is wasted. Control over your energy ensures that every ounce of your effort has maximum impact. Controlling your energy is also about setting boundaries. Boundaries are the invisible lines you draw around your time, attention, and emotions. They protect your energy from unnecessary depletion. Saying no, walking away from toxicity, and refusing to engage in drama are not acts of selfishness. They are acts of self-preservation. Boundary you establish is a declaration: I control my energy, and I will not give it away to things that do not serve my purpose or elevate my life. Boundaries are not walls, they are shields that preserve the most valuable asset you have, your energy. Finally, controlling your energy is a spiritual principle. Energy is connected to your life force, your vitality, and your alignment with purpose. The more you control your energy, the more you align with the path that God, or the universe, or life has designed for you. The more intentional you are with your focus, your reactions, and your investments, the more doors open, the more clarity comes, and the more success manifests. The person who controls their energy lives a life of intention, power, and influence. They are not tossed by circumstance. They are not swayed by negativity. They are anchored in purpose, and their energy drives their destiny. In conclusion, controlling your energy is not optional. It is essential. It begins with awareness, continues with discipline, and is fortified by boundaries, focus, and rest. It requires conscious choices about where to invest your time, your attention, and your emotions. It requires understanding that energy is finite, sacred, powerful. The person who controls their energy refuses to be drained by negativity, refuses to be scattered by distractions, and refuses to allow anyone else's agenda to dictate the flow of their life. 2026 is the year to take control of your energy, protect it, guard it, invest it. Direct it with intention, wisdom, and purpose. Because when you control your energy, you control your life. When you control your energy, you unlock potential, increase productivity, and discover joy that cannot be shaken. And when you control your energy, you step into a level of power, influence, and fulfillment that is reserved only for those who refuse to give their life force away carelessly. There's a silent enemy that robs countless people of their destiny, their joy, and their purpose. It is not failure. It is not rejection. It is not lack of talent or opportunity. No, the true thief of progress is distraction. Distractions come in many forms: unnecessary commitments, toxic relationships, mindless scrolling, envy, self-doubt, and even good things that are not meant for your season. And while they may seem small at first, distractions accumulate, drain your energy, and steal your focus, preventing you from walking fully into the life that is waiting for you. To release distractions, you must first recognize them. Look closely at your life. What is consuming your time and energy without adding value to your purpose? Who or what is keeping you from being fully present in your own journey? Distractions can be loud and obvious, like a relationship that drains you, job that exhausts you, or habits that sabotage your health. But distractions can also be subtle, like endless social media comparisons, worries about what others think, or the temptation to say yes to everything. Awareness is the first step toward freedom. You cannot release what you do not see. You cannot fight what you do not acknowledge. Releasing distractions also requires courage. Many distractions are tied to comfort, fear, or obligation. You may fear confrontation, disappointment, or missing out. You may cling to routines that feel familiar but no longer serve you. You may stay in environments that are safe but stagnant. Releasing these distractions requires boldness, requires saying no when everyone else expects you to say yes. It requires walking away when it is easier to stay. It requires trusting that by letting go of what no longer serves you, you are making space for what is meant for you. Distractions are often disguised as opportunities. They may appear as good ideas, enticing offers, or helpful advice from well-meaning people. If they pull you away from your priorities, they are not helping, they are hindering. To release distractions, you must learn the art of discernment. Everything that comes your way deserves your energy. Not every request, every task, or every obligation aligns with your purpose. Saying no is not weakness, it is wisdom. Saying no is not selfish, it is strategy. Every distraction you release brings clarity, focus, and space for what truly matters in your life. One of the most powerful ways to release distractions is to control your attention. Attention is the gateway to energy, action, and results. Where you focus your attention, you send your energy. And when your attention is scattered, your energy is diluted, your actions lose impact, and your dreams remain distant. You must be intentional with your focus. Decide what deserves your attention and what does not. Decide which thoughts you will entertain and which you will dismiss. Decide which people, activities, and conversations are worth your time and which are not. When you take control of your attention, distractions lose their power over you. Releasing distractions is also about decluttering your environment. Your physical space, your digital space, and even your social space can be full of unnecessary noise. A cluttered room can create a cluttered mind. Excessive notifications can steal your focus. Relationships that drain you can weigh heavily on your spirit. Examine your surroundings. Cleanse, organize, simplify. Remove what is unnecessary, irrelevant, and draining. When your environment is aligned with your priorities, distractions have nowhere to hide. Focus is amplified. Another critical element in releasing distractions is releasing internal clutter. Thoughts, doubts, and emotions that pull you away from your purpose. Past regrets, unresolved conflicts, fear of failure, and self-criticism are invisible distractions that can be even more destructive than external ones. You must confront these internal obstacles. Forgive yourself. Release what is not serving your growth. Meditation, prayer, reflection, or journaling can be powerful tools to help clear this internal clutter. Mind free from unnecessary noise becomes a fertile ground for creativity, focus, and progress. Distractions also come in the form of overcommitment. Many people are busy, but business is not always productive. Filling your schedule with tasks that are not aligned with your priorities is a recipe for exhaustion and frustration. To release distractions, you must learn to protect your time. Prioritize tasks that have meaningful impact on your goals. Delegate or eliminate the rest. Understand that being busy does not equate to being effective. True progress comes from focused, purposeful action, not scattered, reactive business. Releasing distractions is also an act of faith. It requires trusting that letting go of what is unnecessary or misaligned will not leave you empty, but will create space for abundance. Life is not about holding on to everything. It is about holding on to what matters. By releasing distractions, you give room for new opportunities, new relationships, and new levels of growth that were previously blocked by clutter and noise. Faith allows you to release with confidence, knowing that what is meant for you will not pass you by. Finally, releasing distractions is a commitment to yourself. It is a declaration that your time, energy, focus are sacred. It is an acknowledgement that your life has a purpose and that you will not allow trivialities, negativity, unnecessary noise to steal your destiny. Every distraction release strengthens your resolve, sharpens your focus, empowers you to walk fully in the path designed for you. The person who releases distractions becomes unstoppable because their energy is concentrated. Their mind is clear, and their actions are aligned with their purpose. In conclusion, distractions are inevitable, but they are not invincible. Awareness, courage, discernment, and intentional focus are your weapons against them. Declutter your environment, release internal clutter. Protect your time, trust the process. By releasing distractions, you reclaim your energy, amplify your focus, and unlock the life you were created to live. 2026 is the year to release distractions. Let go of what no longer serves you. Remove what is draining you. Refuse to allow noise, negativity, or misalignment to dictate your journey. Walk with clarity, act with intention, and focus on what matters most. Release distractions, Watch as your path becomes clear, your energy multiplies, and your purpose unfolds in ways that are powerful, purposeful, and unstoppable. There is a principle in life that many overlook, yet it is one of the most powerful tools for success, growth, and fulfillment. That principle is this: build in silence. In a world that constantly demands visibility, attention, and validation, the temptation to announce every plan, share every goal, publicize every step is strong. Social media pressures us to display our journey, peer influence tempts us to seek approval, and society applauds the loud over the patient. But here is the truth: the most significant victories, the deepest growth, the most profound transformation often happen in silence, away from the eyes of the crowd. Building in silence begins with understanding the power of focus. When you are not constantly broadcasting your intentions, you conserve energy, clarity, and resources. You shield your dreams from the critics, the naysayers, the distractions that can derail your progress. Every time you feel compelled to announce a goal prematurely, ask yourself this: do I need validation? Do I need results? The person who builds in silence chooses results over recognition. They understand that success is not measured by applause, but by achievement, impact, and fulfillment. Silence also allows for depth. Public plans often invite public pressure. When you broadcast every idea before it is ready, you open yourself up to criticism, unsolicited advice, comparison. But when you work quietly, you allow your ideas, skills, and strategies to develop fully before revealing them to the world. You gain the freedom to make mistakes, to iterate, and to refine without the weight of external judgment. There is a sacred strength in being unseen while building, like the roots of a tree that grow deep before the tree blooms. Your foundation becomes stronger when it is cultivated in silence. Building in silence also cultivates discipline. It requires patience, restraint, and focus. It is easy to seek immediate attention, recognition, or reward, but discipline teaches you to wait, to work, and to trust the process. Discipline in silence means showing up consistently even when no one is watching. It means investing your time, energy, and effort in your goals quietly, understanding that results are often delayed but always purposeful. Person who builds in silence is rarely distracted by comparison or validation because their energy is fully devoted to creation, growth, and mastery. Powerful aspect of building in silence is the element of surprise. When you work quietly without public announcements, your achievements catch the world off guard. The results speak for themselves, and the impact is undeniable. There is an authority and respect that comes when your success is revealed through action rather than words. People are drawn to results. They respond to achievement, but they are rarely moved by mere talk. Silence allows you to cultivate a presence that is powerful, credible, commanding, because it is backed by substance, not noise. Building in silence is also a spiritual principle. In silence, you connect with your purpose, your intuition, and your inner guidance. When you remove the need for external validation, you begin to hear the voice that matters most, the voice inside you that guides your vision, decisions, and actions. The person who builds in silence learns to trust their instincts, honor their calling, move in alignment with their purpose without being swayed by the opinions or expectations of others. Silence fosters clarity, discernment, connection to the divine plan for your life. Silence also encourages humility. When you work quietly, you remain grounded. You are less likely to be distracted by pride, ego, or the need to impress others. You focus on progress rather than praise, on mastery rather than approval, on contribution rather than applause. Humility allows you to learn, to grow, and to develop skills that will serve you in the long term. Person who builds in silence is not arrogant, they are wise. They understand that true greatness is not announced. It is demonstrated through action, results, and influence. Furthermore, building in silence protects your energy. When you constantly share your plans and progress, open yourself to unsolicited opinions, jealousy, and negativity. Energy is wasted responding to criticism, defending choices, or entertaining unnecessary conversations. But when you work quietly, your energy is preserved. It is concentrated on creation, learning, and execution. Silence becomes a shield that protects your focus, peace, and momentum, ensuring that your energy is invested where it counts most. Building in silence also teaches patience. It reminds you that timing is essential. Not every stage of your journey needs to be public. Every idea is ready for display. Not every goal should be broadcast before it is achieved. When you learn to wait, to nurture, and to grow quietly, you create a trajectory for success that is natural, powerful, and undeniable. Patience in silence allows your work to mature, your vision to crystallize, impact to resonate at the right moment. Finally, building in silence emphasizes integrity. When no one is watching, your commitment, effort, and discipline are tested. The person who builds in silence develops resilience, consistency, and self-accountability. They learn to honor their commitments to themselves, to their vision, and to their purpose. This integrity becomes the foundation for long-term success. Public applause may fade, but the results of silent, disciplined work endure. In conclusion, building in silence is not about hiding. It is about strategic focus, energy preservation, and intentional growth. It is about cultivating your vision in private, developing your skills in solitude, and preparing for the moment when your impact will be undeniable. It is about prioritizing results over recognition, substance over noise, progress over validation. 2026 is the year to embrace silence in your journey. Work quietly, build intentionally, protect your energy, cultivate your purpose. Let your achievements speak louder than your words. The person who masters the art of building in silence creates a foundation so strong, a vision so clear, a life so powerful that when the world finally witnesses it, they will have no choice but to recognize the greatness that has been quietly growing all along. There is a truth in life that cannot be ignored. The quality of your life is directly proportional to the quality of your mind and spirit. Your body may carry you, your talent may open doors, but it is the investment in your mind and spirit that determines the height of your success, the depth of your peace, and the strength of your resilience. Far too many people focus solely on external accomplishments while neglecting the inner work that is essential for sustainable growth. But let me tell you, if you want to rise above mediocrity, if you want to navigate life's storms with clarity, and if you want to leave a legacy that matters, you must invest in your mind and spirit. Investing in your mind begins with education, not just formal education, but continual learning, personal development, and the pursuit of wisdom. Read books that expand your understanding. Listen to teachings that stretch your perspective. Seek mentors who challenge you to grow. Your mind is like fertile soil. What you plant in it will determine the harvest you reap. If you fill your mind with negativity, doubt, and ignorance, your life will reflect confusion, limitation, and frustration. But if you cultivate knowledge, positivity, and discernment, your life will produce clarity, opportunity, and empowerment. Investing in your mind is a lifelong process, and it is one of the most valuable decisions you can make in 2026. Equally important is investing in your spirit. Your spirit is the wellspring of your purpose, the anchor of your values, and the guide for your decisions. Neglecting your spiritual growth leaves you vulnerable to doubt, fear, and misdirection. Nurturing your spirit, however, creates resilience, peace, and alignment with your destiny. Prayer, meditation, reflection, connecting with a higher power or your inner self are essential practices. These are not just rituals. They are investments that fortify your foundation, sharpen your intuition, and deepen your understanding of your purpose. A strong spirit allows you to weather life's storms with confidence and grace. Investing in your mind and spirit also means controlling the information you consume and the energy you absorb. The mind is constantly influenced by the environment, the media, and the people around you. If you feed it negativity, fear, or constant comparison, your growth will be stunted. If you fill it with inspiration, education, and empowerment, your potential expands exponentially. Guard your mind vigilantly. Decide what thoughts, influences, and messages you allow into your life. Your focus is your fertilizer. What you feed your mind and spirit will determine what grows. Another essential aspect of investing in your mind and spirit is self-reflection. Take time to examine your thoughts, habits, and beliefs. Identify the patterns that serve you and those that hold you back. Journaling, meditation, simply taking quiet moments to assess your progress can be incredibly powerful. Self-reflection allows you to course correct, reinforce your values, Align your actions with your highest vision. The person who invests in their mind and spirit continually evaluates, adapts, and grows. I challenge you to not drift through life. They navigate it intentionally. Investing in your mind and spirit also requires patience and consistency. Growth is not instantaneous. Transformation is not immediate. But with daily discipline, steady learning, and spiritual nourishment, you develop strength that lasts a lifetime. Small, consistent actions, reading a few pages a day, spending a few moments in prayer or reflection, practicing gratitude, compound over time into profound growth. The person who understands this principle does not become discouraged by slow progress. They recognize that every step forward in mental and spiritual development is a step toward mastery of their life. Investing in your mind and spirit also empowers your decision-making. A mind sharpened by knowledge and a spirit fortified by clarity are unstoppable forces. When you face challenges, you approach them with wisdom rather than panic. When opportunities arise, you evaluate them with discernment rather than impulse. Conflict occurs, you respond with grace rather than anger. Your mind gives you strategy, your spirit gives you insight. And together they provide the strength to act with confidence and precision. Moreover, investing in your mind and spirit increases your capacity for influence. People are drawn to those who radiate wisdom, confidence, and integrity. A strong mind communicates ideas clearly. A strong spirit inspires trust and respect. You cultivate these internal resources, your ability to lead, mentor, and impact others grows. Influence is not given, it is earned, and it begins from within. By investing in yourself internally, you become a beacon for others externally. Another critical dimension of this investment is emotional intelligence. Your mind and spirit shape how you manage your emotions, respond to stress, and relate to others. A mind trained in discernment and a spirit aligned with values enables you to navigate relationships and challenges with maturity and grace. You learn to recognize triggers, respond rather than react, and maintain your peace regardless of circumstances. Emotional intelligence is not innate. It is cultivated through intentional investment in your inner self. Finally, investing in your mind and spirit cultivates resilience. Life will always present challenges, setbacks, and obstacles. External success is fragile if it is not supported by inner strength. Your mind equips you to analyze, strategize, and overcome challenges. Your spirit gives you faith, patience, and hope. Together, they create an unshakable foundation that allows you to endure, adapt, and thrive. What storms arise? In conclusion, investing in your mind and spirit is the most powerful decision you can make for your life in 2026. It is the secret to sustained success, deep fulfillment, and unstoppable growth. Read, learn, and seek wisdom. Nurture your spirit, strengthen your faith, cultivate clarity. Protect your thoughts, align your actions with your values, and engage in consistent self-reflection. Feed your mind with knowledge, your spirit with purpose, and your heart with integrity. The person who invests in their mind and spirit becomes unstoppable. Their decisions are grounded, their purpose is clear, and their life is aligned with destiny. They navigate challenges with confidence, seize opportunities with discernment, inspire others through their example. 2026 is the year to commit to yourself, commit to growth, commit to strength. Commit to the deep work of investing in your mind and spirit, and watch as every area of your life transforms, flourishes, and reaches heights you never imagined. There is a treasure in life that is more valuable than gold, more precious than fame, and more powerful than influence. That treasure is peace, inner calm, clarity of mind, and stability of spirit. Yet so many people live their lives in constant turmoil, reacting to every opinion, circumstance, and situation that comes their way. They allow negativity, criticism, drama, and chaos to invade their minds and spirits, never realizing that peace is a choice, discipline, and a responsibility. To achieve greatness, fulfillment, and purpose, you must learn to guard your peace. Guarding your peace begins with awareness. Protect what you do not recognize. Examine your life and ask, what disturbs my calm? What steals my joy? What disrupts my focus? These disturbances may come in many forms. People who drain your energy, environments that breed stress, conversations that breed doubt, or habits that undermine your progress. Awareness allows you to identify the sources of disruption so that you can take deliberate action to protect your inner sanctuary. One of the first steps to guarding your peace is establishing boundaries. Boundaries are not walls, they are lines of protection. They communicate what is acceptable and what is not. They teach others how to treat you and remind you to treat yourself with respect. Saying no is not rude, it is necessary. Walking away from toxic situations is not weakness, it is wisdom. Protecting your time, energy, and emotional space is essential. Without boundaries, peace is vulnerable, easily stolen by external chaos and internal discontent. Guarding your peace also requires mastery over your thoughts. Peace begins in the mind. Negative thoughts, fear, doubt, and constant worry are thieves that steal calmness before any external event has a chance. By controlling your thoughts, you control your reactions and your energy. Practice mental discipline. Focus on solutions rather than problems. Reframe setbacks as opportunities. Replace fear with faith, comparison with gratitude, and criticism with discernment. When your mind is aligned, your spirit is fortified, and your peace becomes unshakable. Another key aspect of guarding your peace is choosing your associations carefully. The people you spend the most time with influence your mood, energy, and mindset. Surround yourself with those who uplift, inspire, and challenge you positively. Distance yourself from those who are constantly negative, draining, or toxic. This is not selfish, it is strategic. Peace is precious, and not everyone is meant to occupy your space. Guard your peace by curating relationships that strengthen rather than weaken your spirit. Guarding your peace also involves the wise use of your energy. Not every battle requires engagement. Not every opinion requires a response. Every situation deserves your focus. Discerning where to invest your energy ensures that your efforts yield results, not frustration. Learn to prioritize what matters and let go of what does not. Refuse to waste time defending yourself unnecessarily or explaining your choices to those who do not understand or appreciate them. Protecting your energy is a cornerstone of guarding your peace. Silence is another powerful tool in protecting peace. Sometimes speaking, reacting, engaging feeds chaos. Learning to pause, reflect, and act with intentionality preserves calmness and clarity. Silence allows you to process before responding, to observe before acting, and to choose your battles wisely. It is in the stillness that insight emerges, clarity strengthens, and your peace is maintained. The person who values their peace understands the power of silence in navigating a noisy world. Guarding your peace also requires forgiveness. Holding on to anger, resentment, or grudges is like drinking poison while expecting someone else to suffer. Bitterness corrodes your mind, clouds your judgment, and drains your energy. Forgiveness is not condoning wrongdoing. It is freeing yourself from the chains of past pain. Release what weighs heavily on your spirit. Go of grudges and reclaim the calm that belongs to you. True peace cannot coexist with unresolved bitterness. Another critical element in guarding your peace is trusting your journey. Worry and anxiety often stem from trying to control what is beyond your power. Trust the timing of your life. Trust that challenges, delays, and setbacks are shaping you, not breaking you. Trust that your efforts, faith, and integrity will yield results in their proper season. When you trust the process, you release unnecessary tension, fear, and doubt, allowing peace to reside in your heart regardless of circumstances. Guarding your peace is also about self-care. Honoring your physical, emotional, spiritual needs. Rest, nutrition, reflection, and practice that nourish your soul are not indulgences. They are investments in stability and calm. When your body, mind, and spirit are well cared for, your resilience increases and your peace is protected even in challenging times. Neglecting self-care leaves you vulnerable to burnout, irritation, and imbalance. Protect yourself holistically to maintain unshakable peace. Finally, guarding your peace is a conscious daily choice. The world will test you relentlessly. Circumstances will challenge you. People will provoke you. Chaos will surround you. But your peace is sacred, protected as you would guard your most valuable possession. Align your actions, thoughts, and environment with tranquility. Refuse to let negativity, drama, or external pressures dictate your internal state. Peace is not found in circumstances. It is cultivated in discipline, awareness, and intentional living. In conclusion, guarding your peace is a sacred responsibility. It requires awareness, boundaries, mental discipline, selective relationships, wise energy use, silence, forgiveness, trust, and self-care. It is not passive, it is proactive, it is not optional. It is essential for success, happiness, and fulfillment. When you guard your peace, you gain clarity, resilience, and focus. You can navigate challenges without losing yourself. You can achieve your goals without sacrificing your well-being. 2026 is the year to take ownership of your inner calm. Guard your peace fiercely. Protect your mind, your spirit, and your energy. Say no when necessary, forgive when possible, and focus relentlessly on what matters most. When you guard your peace, you create an environment where growth, joy, and purpose can thrive. Your life will reflect the calm and clarity of your inner sanctuary, and nothing in the world will have the power to steal it from you. There is a subtle difference between living and existing, between moving through life aimlessly and walking with purpose. That difference is intention. To be intentional is to act with clarity, to choose your steps deliberately, and to align every action with your vision and values. Too often, people drift through life, reacting to circumstances, responding to others' expectations, and allowing the noise of the world to dictate their choices. Those who are intentional rise above mediocrity. They create results, impact, and fulfillment that are unmatched because they understand that every moment carries weight, every decision shapes their future, every action sends energy into the universe. Being intentional begins with clarity. You cannot act deliberately if you do not know where you are going or what you truly desire. Intentionality requires reflection, self-awareness, and vision. Take time to define what matters most to you, your purpose, your goals, your values, and your priorities. Without clarity, you will drift. Without a vision, your energy will scatter, and your efforts will produce little fruit. Intentional people know their destination. Every step they take is designed to bring them closer to it. Intentionality also demands focus. The world is full of distractions, temptations, obligations that do not serve your purpose. To be intentional is to say no to what does not align with your goals and yes to what moves you forward. It requires discernment, courage, and sometimes sacrifice. Yes, you give to one thing as a no to something else. When you choose deliberately, you ensure that your energy, time, and resources are invested in what truly matters. The person who is intentional prioritizes with precision, acts with purpose, guards their focus like a treasure. Another critical aspect of being intentional is taking ownership of your choices. Life will always throw challenges, opportunities, and distractions your way, but how you respond is your responsibility. Intentional people understand that they are not victims of circumstance. They are architects of their destiny. They make decisions consciously rather than reacting impulsively. They do not blame others for their setbacks or wait passively for success to come. They move decisively, strategically, and with purpose. Being intentional means recognizing that your life is a reflection of your choices and that the power to shape it rests squarely in your hands. Intentionality also manifests in how you use your time. Time is finite, and the way you spend it determines the trajectory of your life. To be intentional is to honor your time, to allocate it to activities, relationships, and pursuits that align with your vision. Wasting hours on trivial matters, distractions, or tasks that do not contribute to your growth. Protect your schedule, focus your energy, and engage in practices that enhance your skills, expand your mind, and strengthen your spirit. Time spent intentionally is the seed of long-term success, influence, and fulfillment. Being intentional also requires consistency. One intentional action is a spark, but repeated intentional actions ignite a movement. Success, growth, and transformation are rarely instantaneous. They are built through daily, deliberate effort. Intentionality is a habit, a discipline, and a commitment to showing up fully every day. It means consistently aligning your actions with your values, your goals, and your vision. person who is intentional does not rely on luck or chance. They rely on the power of deliberate, persistent, and focused action. Another element of intentionality is mindfulness. Being intentional means being fully present in every moment, aware of your actions, decisions, consequences. It means listening attentively, engaging deeply, and responding thoughtfully. Mindfulness allows you to avoid reactive patterns, recognize opportunities, and act with wisdom rather than impulse. When you are intentional, you do not drift through life half-conscious. You engage fully, observe clearly, and create deliberately. Intentionality is also closely tied to purpose. When you are intentional, your actions are not random, they are meaningful. Every decision, every step, every investment of energy aligns with a larger vision of who you want to be and the impact you want to make. Living intentionally transforms mundane tasks into acts of purpose, challenges into opportunities, and setbacks into lessons. It allows you to live a life that is rich, fulfilling, and aligned with your calling. Being intentional also extends to relationships. People you allow into your life affect your energy, your mindset, and your trajectory. To be intentional is to surround yourself with those who inspire, uplift, and challenge you positively. It means setting boundaries with those who drain, distract, or diminish your potential. Intentional relationships are cultivated with care, nurtured with respect, and chosen with wisdom. They are not accidental, they are deliberate. Finally, being intentional is a mindset that empowers action and accountability. It requires you to think ahead, plan strategically, and execute with purpose. It requires you to take responsibility for the outcomes of your choices and to learn from every experience. Intentional people are not passive observers. They are active creators of their reality. They understand that life responds to clarity, focus, deliberate effort. They recognize that energy invested with intention produces exponential returns. In conclusion, to be intentional is to live with purpose, clarity, and discipline. It is to recognize that your choices matter, your actions have weight, and your focus determines your future. Intentionality requires clarity, focus, ownership, time management, consistency, mindfulness, purpose alignment, and careful relationship building. It is the foundation for growth, fulfillment, and lasting success. 2026 is the year to commit to intentionality. Define your vision. Align your actions. Guard your focus. Invest your energy wisely. Make decisions deliberately. Show up consistently. Cultivate relationships that matter. Live fully present. Take ownership of your life. When you are intentional, you transform ordinary moments into extraordinary outcomes. You move from drift to deliberate. You rise above distraction, mediocrity, and indecision, and when you embrace intentional living, you create a life of purpose, impact, and unstoppable success. There is a moment in every person's life when they must make a decision. A decision not about what has been, not about what is, but about what can be. That moment is the invitation to claim your future. Too often, people live in the shadows of their past, trapped by regrets, mistakes, or limitations. They allow fear, doubt, and uncertainty to dictate their next steps, failing to see that their future is not predetermined. It is shaped by the choices, actions, mindset they embrace today. Claiming your future is not passive, it is deliberate, it is bold, it is courageous. It is the act of stepping into your destiny with faith, focus, and determination. To claim your future, you must first envision it. What does your ideal life look like? What level of success, peace, fulfillment, and influence do you desire? Too many people drift through life without a clear picture of what they want to create. They react to circumstances rather than designing a destiny. But when you take the time to envision your future vividly, you create a roadmap for your life. Clarity is the first step to claiming what belongs to you. A mind without vision is like a ship without a compass. It drifts aimlessly, carried by winds of doubt and currents of fear. Claiming your future also requires courage. It demands the willingness to step out of comfort zones, confront fears, and take risks. The path to a great future is rarely easy. It requires sacrifices, decisions that challenge the norm, and actions that may initially feel uncomfortable. Courage is the bridge between your present and your potential. Those who claim their future do not wait for perfect conditions. They act decisively, trusting that faith, persistence, and discipline will carry them forward. The person who claims their future moves boldly even when the road is uncertain, knowing that every step taken in alignment with purpose brings them closer to their destiny. Another essential element of claiming your future is ownership. You cannot claim what you refuse to take responsibility for. Your life, your choices, your actions, they are yours. Stop blaming circumstances, other people, past failures for where you are today. The future belongs to those who own their present. Ownership is empowering because it shifts the locus of control from external forces to internal decision-making. The person who claims their future understands that they have the authority to create, change, and influence their reality. They act, they plan, persevere, knowing that their destiny is not waiting for permission, it is waiting for action. Claiming your future also requires focus. The world is filled with distractions, temptations, and competing priorities. To create the life you desire, you must direct your energy, attention, effort towards your goals relentlessly. Focus is the engine that drives progress. Without it, time, energy, and talent are wasted on trivial matters. With it, even small actions compound into extraordinary results. The person who claims their future does not allow distractions to steal their momentum. They prioritize what matters, eliminate what does not, and concentrate their effort on the actions that move them toward their vision. Persistence is another cornerstone of claiming your future. The path to your dreams will not always be smooth. Setbacks, failures, and obstacles are inevitable. Persistence transforms challenges into lessons and failures into stepping stones. Those who claim their future understand that temporary defeat does not dictate final outcome. They continue to move forward with resilience, refusing to let disappointment dictate their trajectory. Persistence, combined with vision, courage, and focus, creates unstoppable momentum toward the life you are destined to live. Claiming your future also means investing in yourself today. Your skills, mindset, knowledge, and spiritual growth are all tools that prepare you for tomorrow. The person who claims their future is constantly learning, growing, strengthening their foundation. They understand that preparation precedes opportunity. Every moment invested in self-development compounds into a greater capacity to achieve influence and impact. Investing in yourself is not optional. It is the cornerstone of building a future that is extraordinary and unshakable. Another essential aspect of claiming your future is resilience in thought and spirit. Your beliefs, attitudes, and inner dialogue shape your reality. If you allow doubt, fear, or negativity to dominate, you sabotage the very future you hope to create. But when you cultivate positive, empowering beliefs, anchored in faith, purpose, and vision, you build an inner strength that can weather any storm. Your mind becomes a fortress, your spirit a compass, and your actions aligned with a higher vision. The person who claims their future does not merely react to life. They create it with intentionality, clarity, and resolve. Claiming your future also involves strategic action. Dreams without execution remain illusions. To bring your vision into reality, you must set goals, plan strategically, and take deliberate steps toward their achievement. Every decision should be evaluated for its alignment with your desired future. Every action should move you closer to your vision. Strategic, purposeful action is the bridge between imagining your future and living it. The person who claims their future does not rely on luck. They rely on intentionality, planning, and consistent effort. Plays a critical role in claiming your future. Even with vision, focus, and strategy, there will be moments when the path is unclear, when results are delayed, and when challenges seem insurmountable. Faith sustains you through uncertainty. Faith reminds you that your future is not dictated by the limitations of today, but by the possibilities of tomorrow. It allows you to persevere, trust the process, and to act boldly even when outcomes are not immediately visible. The person who claims their future moves forward with confidence because they know that what is meant for them will come to pass through diligence, patience, alignment with purpose. Finally, claiming your future requires decisiveness. Life does not wait and opportunities pass quickly. Indecision leads to missed chances, stagnation, and regret. The person who claims their future decides boldly, acts with intention, and moves with conviction. They do not wait for perfect conditions. They create conditions for success through action, preparation, and determination. Future belongs to those who act decisively today. In conclusion, claiming your future is a deliberate, powerful, and transformative choice. It requires vision, courage, ownership, focus, persistence, self-investment, resilience, strategic action, faith, and decisiveness. The person who claims their future does not live in the past. They learn from it. They do not drift through the present. They act intentionally within it. They do not leave their destiny to chance. They create it with boldness, faith, and unwavering determination. 2026 is your year to claim your future. Visualize it. Take responsibility for it. Invest in it. Guard it. Act intentionally toward it. Release distractions. Control your energy. Build in silence while aligning every thought, action, and decision with the life you are destined to live. The moment you claim your future, you step into a life of purpose, power, and impact that is uniquely yours. Do not wait. Do not hesitate. Your future is calling. Reach for it. Seize it. Make it yours.